Hello Millwall fans, Paul Eiffel here. It's time for Chat with Chaps.
Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome back to another episode of Chat with Chaps. I've just recovered from the deep depression that was reviewing the Oxford game. And do you know what's even better? We now go away to one of the most informed sides in the league, away from home on Saturday. So to talk to us about said Saturday, although I'm glad it's back to a bit of normality, 3 o'clock on a Saturday, thank you very much, Sky, is James from the Wednesday Till I Die podcast. James, how you doing, mate? Welcome back.
Yeah, cheers, Chris. Thanks for having me on, mate. Do appreciate it. Sounds good you saying that. An informed side. Not many people have said that previously, but yeah, it feels good. Free-flowing football, or certainly free-flowing in terms of goals anyway, which I'm sure we'll come on to in a second.
Definitely, mate. I mean, we couldn't get two more polar opposite sides in terms of one is basically to bore you to tears, which is us, and then the other side is for the neutral for you. But I mean, let's just talk about your recent form then. So, you know, last five games, you've got 10 points. You're up to is it 9th in the table at the moment? 3 points off a playoff place. Last 9 games, you won 5, 18 goals scored, 12 conceded, but it's going pretty good at the minute, right?
Yeah, look, like I said, for the neutral, we are definitely one to watch. So, yeah, if there's any Millwall fans out there thinking of who should watch this weekend, if it's not Millwall, yeah, put us on, and you certainly bound to see some goals anyway. As to which goal they're going to be in is anyone's guess, to be fair, because, yeah, like I said, it has been mental in that regards. But no, look, I mean, most recently, 4-2 win against Derby on New Year's Day. Fantastic result there. Just... yeah, the defensive frailties were there again, but I mean, I'm sure everyone's seen the goal from Josh Windass from, I think it's been measured at something like 60 yards out. Yeah, it's not even halfway line. It's even more into our half than that. You know, I sit on the north stand, so I was kind of I'm closest to our goal, if you know what I mean. When he hits it, and he hits it, you're thinking, no, Josh, not from there. And then as the ball's in the air, you're thinking, oh my God, it's got a chance. It's going in. And yeah, the absolute pandemonium in the stands. I mean, that made it 2-0 as well. So it wasn't, it wasn't like it was the 4th goal in a 4-2 win. It was still quite a tense moment. But you know, I'm sure we're going to talk about him in a second. But do you know what? This season we are literally. I asked for a mid-table season. And I feel like, I know we're 9th and we're 3 points off the playoffs, probably a measure on how the league is more than how we've been, because it has been win 1, lose 1, draw 1, rinse and repeat that, just kind of all the way through the season. Ever since we lost to you, I think at earlier on this season, that 3-0 defeat, that was a moment where Danny really just changed his principles and went to a more pragmatic approach rather than trying to play this total football. We went to after we lost to you, we went to a back 5, and since then we have actually seemed to pick. You know, the performances have been better and seem to pick up more results. But we have got a defeat in us. You know, it's kind of which team turns up really. I mean, 3-0 down against Middlesbrough, it was game over on Boxing Day. Second half, I have no idea what he said to the lads at half time. But like, you come out and I'm actually disappointed that we didn't win that game.
Yeah,
we drew 3-3. They had 10 men, and I was, genuinely, there were like 15 minutes left where it was 3-3, and it looked like only one team winning it. Mentally, honestly, it's mad this season. We are like Jekyll and Hyde, and it's just goals at the moment.
Yeah, well, thanks for your comeback against Middlesbrough, because I had Middlesbrough in my acca, no disrespect, and I'd put it down. I was like, that's a banker, that's done. And then you almost came back and win it. And as you said, you probably should have done. But no, I from an outsider looking in, you seem like an exciting side. You've got, again, my perspective, and would love to hear your take on it, a good blend of experience and sort of younger players coming in due to sort of some good recruitment, and a manager that, you alluded to this on your version of this, that maybe hurts inside by the fact that he can't play this total football with a group, but he gets the best out of them.
Yeah, like I think he wants to play a back four, a 4-2-3-1 formation. We did play a little bit like that yesterday, but I think he just realises that he hasn't got the players to do that. Ball playing defenders. Yeah, we've got Deshaun Bernard, but he was back on New Year's Day, but the previous two was suspended due to picking up his second red card of the season. And he's the only one that can kind of do that at the moment. And then we're trying to play the same way with players that just simply can't do that, and it does look a bit rushed and everything. And obviously, all right, he's had a January, he's now had a summer. Obviously, we're coming into this January transfer window, but it's still not. We haven't had loads of cash to spend. It's not like he's just been able to totally just gut the squad and bring all these players in. And even then, again, we're not a powerhouse. We can't just bring everyone who he wants. I'm sure all these top targets haven't all walked in. I'm sure the players that we've brought in are probably a little bit down his list. So, yeah, I think it has been a little bit difficult. Probably asking players to do stuff that they just physically and technically can't do. And we have been found out on quite a few occasions. All right, last season we've had some really big beating 6-0 at Ipswich last season, 4-0 against Southampton. We've had a 4-0 already this season against Sunderland. That was before we played you. So there is some, there's some times where he does get it wrong. But I think he has just realised that actually you've just got to get the best out of the players that you've got. And I don't think there's not many managers that have all their own players. Managers don't stay around for that long, to actually bring in a whole host of players that they want to play their style. And we don't have kind of the director of football or anyone in that sort of position that sets a style that Sheffield Wednesday should play. If you go back the previous, I would say, I don't think there's been two managers that we've had that have been similar to the one before. They've all been different. They've all, and I suppose to a certain extent, if that style of play is not working from a fan's perspective, you want someone to come in to try something different. But then you get the age-old adage of, they're not my players. They don't do what I want them. They can't do what I want them to do, and then it's always an excuse. So, look, he hasn't come out and said anything like that. And look, we're 9 from 3 points off the playoffs, so he's certainly getting a tune out of him. And quite a lot of our fans feel like we're in a bit of a false position. I don't think we can quite believe that we are 9th and 3 points off the playoffs. It doesn't seem right. But then there's that other side of things where you look at it and think, actually, as you alluded to on our pod, there's probably 2 or 3 standout teams in this league, and everyone else is pretty much of a muchness. So actually, I think the league table never lies, Chris, and we're 9th. So I think we've just got to believe in ourselves a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me, to be honest, that you're there. I take the game that we had, obviously 3-0 victory at the Den back at the start of the season for us. I take that out of the thinking, and looking longer term, it doesn't surprise me that you're there. And I think majority of teams, not all, but majority of teams are, a good January transfer window away from being involved in a playoff mix. And I think head and heart, I'd like to think that's in our scenario, but I'm not quite sure given some of the things that we talked about on your pod. But, assuming that you are going to be in the mix, what do you think you need then in January to sort of top up the squad? If you could have your wish list, what would you want to see?
Players that can defend, I think, is the first and foremost. You look at the number of goals kind of scored recently, 13. You think, oh, great, 13 goals in his last 6 games. We've conceded 10. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's absolutely mental when you look at it. And when you look at the sides at the top of the league at the moment, those down the road who I can't mention, your Burnleys, your Leeds Uniteds, you look and they're not scoring, when it's Leeds United aside, but the other two aren't. I think we've scored more goals than both of those. Mm-hmm. But they've conceded hardly any, like the most clean sheets in the league. And clearly this season is more suited towards those sides that are defensively resolute and just picking up 1-0, 2-0 wins here, there and everywhere. We're having to score 3 and 4 goals every week to win a game. I mentioned, we scored 3 against Borough, come away with a point. That shouldn't really be happening. You shouldn't have to be scoring that many goals just to get a draw. Defenders is a massive one. We've got an injury to Akin Famewo. To be fair, before at the start of the season, I wouldn't have been saying he would be a key player, but he started off really strong. He got injured a fair few weeks ago now, so we've been out without him for a while. we brought Max Lowe in at the start of the season. He's more of a player that was going to be jockeying with Marvin Johnson on the left hand side, either as a left wing back or a left back. And he weren't like to replace him. It's kind of probably to when Marvin Johnson's rested to play him in there. He's having to play both of them at the moment. He's playing Max Lowe as a left centre back.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And then on the opposite side, we've got Jan Valery, who again is a right back or a right full back. He's also playing right centre half. So we've got full backs playing at centre back alongside Deshaun Bernard, who is good at his job, but he's just not got anyone at the side of him. Look, Max Lowe's been fantastic this season, but again, like I don't think he was supposed to be playing as many games that he actually has done. And we're getting into that point now where, all right, the game's coming thick and fast. I know it starts to slow up a little bit, but the last thing you want is those guys to pick up injuries. They're not young lads anymore. Shea Charles, who's just over 20 years old, he could run for days. But when you're asking someone who's wrong side of 30 to do that, it is going to be a bit of a struggle. And we have seen players getting a little bit tired. So yeah, I would say we need at least one centre back to come in, probably even two, to be fair, just to give us that cover. And I'd want to see someone who was experienced. We had Glenn Louvens quite a few seasons ago. All right, it wasn't fantastic, but it was good for us. And I think he was a leader and a good organiser as well. There's times where things are just going a little bit wrong, and you need someone just to organise that defence and and tell him what's needed to be done. And someone like that, someone who's got Premier League experience, perhaps 100 appearances in the Premier League, around about 30-year-old mark. I know I've been saying about players who are 30, but I think you need someone who can just organise that defence and stop us conceding silly, stupid goals, because vast majority of the goals we concede are avoidable. And I know you could say that for most, but we kind of shoot ourselves in the foot a little bit, and it's the same type of goal as well, like set pieces. I know your boys are good at set pieces, so you'll be happy to for me to say that we struggle defending set pieces. Corners, it's a lottery whether we're going to get it out of the box or not, and yeah, that is a real big worry. So yeah, just defenders. I wouldn't mind if we just sign a whole new back line and we just stop conceding goals. That's happy for me. As I said, we started scoring goals now, so that down the other end of the park, we're doing all right, but we just need to tighten up at the back.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a couple of over 30 centre backs that if you fancy a Murray Wallace or a Sean Hutchinson, we're more than happy to pass them your way. But in terms of looking at further up the pitch, then, so you have scored a lot of goals, and let's talk about a player that is one of the top scorers in the league. Scored a ridiculous goal the other day from 60 yards. Self-proclaimed best number 10 in the league. I'm pretty sure Millwall, we tried to buy him from you when you were in League One. Which I don't know whether he rejected or you rejected, but either way, obviously it didn't happen. And that is Mr. Josh Windass, who, I know you also had a bit of a scenario. I forget if it was in the summer or last season, where was he going to stay? Was he not? Was he going to sign a new deal? And he did. 10 goals so far. Talk to me a bit about him, and also, some of the attacking talent that you've got that we should keep an eye on Saturday.
Yeah, Josh Windass is having a fantastic season. As you mentioned, 10 goals from that number 10 position. He's just unreal, really. He's having his best season that he's had for us in a long time. And I said that because he's been here for a while as well. I think it's his fifth season with us. So yeah, he was obviously with us down in League One. His problem is keeping fit. Touch wood, he's stayed fit all season so far, and it's no surprise that he's got that sort of number of goals. I think his best number for us is 12, and that was in the League One season when we got promoted. That's league goals, that is, and he's already nearly surpassed that mark. And the other thing as well, it's all right getting 10 goals, but then you look and you think, oh, he's got an hat-trick here, he's got 2 goals there, and everything else. He's got 10 goals in 10 games, as in 10 different games that he's scored in. So,
right,
and more often than not, it's important games. You look at, Borja Sainz, for example. I think he's got 15, but his 15 have come in 10. He's got a couple of hat-tricks, which is impressive in itself. But, you want players to be scoring every week.
consistent.
Windass has got 5 in his last 5. He is a man in form at the moment. He didn't even start the game yesterday against Derby. He came off the bench and 5-10 minutes in, he just pulls that absolute worldie off. And do you know what? He's got that in his locker. He scored an unbelievable goal away at Blackburn at the back end of last season as well, which was, again, lobbed the goalkeeper, admittedly quite a bit closer this time. But he's one that he does back himself. Now, he's Marmite with the fans. He doesn't. He tends not to celebrate, and I think he came out and he said that his dad Dean told him not to celebrate goals because it's in League One. This was obviously a few seasons back. Because it's only League One and everything else. And you do get that. He does kind of score and just turn around and just walk back to the halfway line, which, as a fan, people don't like that. You want to kind of resonate with, you're going berserk in the home end or the away end, and you want the players to do the same thing. So some people think he's a bit arrogant. You mentioned the comments that he said there. You're saying that he's the best number 10 in the league when fit. And you know what? I don't mind it, mate. Because if you can't back yourself, then how are you expecting someone else to back you if you don't believe in your own ability? And that's all he's doing. If he feels that and he walks out there, I mean, look, it's one thing talking the talk. A lot of people do that. You've got to walk the walk as well. And he's got 10 goals this season. Like I said, third leading goal scorer in the league. Anything he touches turns to gold at the moment. So yeah, long way to continue with Josh. Another couple of players that you need to look out for: Jerry Gassama. He scored again yesterday. A great goal. Kind of flicks it with the outside of his boot as the ball comes over, and then he's got blistering pace. Leaves the defender for absolute dead, and kind of this is on the halfway line, and he just sets off and 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper and just slots it past him with ease. He did something similar for the first goal as well. Their number 5 for Derby, I forget his name. I felt like he was wearing lead boots. It went past him that quick. Couldn't keep up with him at all. It could give him a 50-metre head start and 100-metre race, and he would probably beat him to the finish line, to be fair. Gets to the bar. He did get an assist. It's kind of a pre-assist, if you want to call it that. Yeah. But yeah, he's certainly coming on form. And you mentioned SA, the lad that you've got, and he's a little bit like that in terms of gets you on the edge of your seat. Does tend to hold on to the ball a little bit too long, if I'm being honest. I do coin him with the phrase, speedboat, no driver, quite a lot of the times. He's, you don't really know what he's going to do, but he just runs, really quick. He'll try and take someone on 2 and 3, 4 times when once would do. But you know what? If he had all them other qualities that I've been asking for him, he probably wouldn't be playing for Sheffield Wednesday in the Championship. He'd probably going higher. Came out the PSG youth setup, so he's played alongside or trained alongside Messi when he was there. So yeah, he's certainly got the talent. And then at the other end of the pitch, Deshaun Bernard. I mentioned he got 2 red cards. He's not shy of a tackle, but he's ball playing centre back. He's Jamaican international. We're a lot better when he's playing than when he's not. So yeah, we're up until recently. I couldn't really give you many players to look out for because we were kind of a little bit average. But now we're scoring goals and some players are kind of rising to the top. And the other one, of course, Shea Charles, absolutely.
I was just about to mention him.
Yeah. Rolls Royce of a man. A young lad, he's already captain in Northern Ireland side. Southampton paid 10 million for him from Man City. They let him go out on loan to us. They're looking to, there's rumours that they're going to sell him. West Ham are sniffing around. I really hope they don't, because he's such
surely Southampton could do with him, couldn't they? It's a bit odd.
Well, they could, but I suppose when you're getting relegated, you'd rather keep him in the Championship, where he's probably going to be playing next season. So,
true.
Why put him in a side that's getting spanked every single week? It's not really going to do much for his development. When he's playing out of his skin at the moment, plays every single week. Where the lads have a break in the internationals because we haven't got that many of them. He goes out to Northern Ireland and plays in their games, 2 games normally, comes back, plays 90 minutes, 2 games, 180 minutes there, straight back in, full 90. He just plays every single game. So calm on the ball. What a player he is. And they say, don't they, never fall in love with a lone player. Well, I've fallen in love with Shea Charles.
Too late. Yeah, so some players for us to look out for then. I think one of the other things I was going to just mention was it felt like we can draw we have a similarity in the sense that we both signed 2 centre forwards in the summer, which between fees and assumed wages, probably both quite expensive for us. I'm referring from a Millwall perspective, Mihailo Ivanovic, Macaulay Langstaff, probably not massive wages, but £3.2 million, which for Millwall is ridiculous. And you signed Jamal Lowe, a player that has been linked to Millwall every single time he comes available, and he snubs us every single time. And Ike Ugbo. And again, when you put the fees together and probably wages, quite an expensive outlay for you. And if I've got it right, only 3 league goals, all from Jamal Lowe. And our 2 have also scored 3 league goals. So that's why I'm drawing comparisons in terms of expensive outlays, forward areas that are not quite hit the ground running. Why is that from your perspective?
Absolutely no idea. Ike Ugbo, it was on loan last season. Got him this time last season. He was at Cardiff. His parent club was Troyes. They recalled him and sent him out to us. He didn't really do anything at them other than score against us earlier on that season. But he came to us in couple of games to get going, and then hit a real purple patch, and I think it was something like 7 in 7 or something ridiculous, or 7 in 6. I think it might have been. Everything he touched went in the back of the net, and it was like, what a player. He did go off the boil a little bit, and he didn't score. I think he only scored 1 in his next 10 games, I think it was, which was a really important goal actually against West Brom, near the back end of the season. And everyone wanted to sign him. You asked any Wednesday fan in the summer, should we sign Ike Ugbo or not?
I wanted to sign him. Yeah. So I know.
Yeah, and it was like 100% we need to sign him. And it took ages, I'm not going to lie. Apparently there was disagreement about the fee, and everyone was, and like you said there, $2.5 million we signed him for. And we were all like, should we pay that much money for him? I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's peanuts, but we have PTSD when it comes to spending money on players. And we signed him and thought, this is it. We are going up as champions. We've signed Ike Ugbo. He's going to score 30 goals this season. He ain't got any. He hasn't scored a goal this season. And he looks. You said before about what more that he seems to have got his twin brother. I think exactly the same has happened with Ugbo, because it's not the same player at all that we had last season. I just don't know what it is. He's absolutely shot of confidence. Obviously, when you go through a barren spell like that, it must be difficult when your job is to put the ball in the back of the net. There was chances yesterday where last season he would have just hit it, and he isn't. He's laying it off and looking for a pass. I do really feel for him because I want him to do well. As every Wednesday player who puts that blue and white shirt on, you want to do well, but he's just not performing. And he's not like he's not been given the chances either. He's had 11 starts this season. He started again yesterday against Derby. He scored 4 goals. You'd think that his name would be on there. It wasn't. He didn't. I don't think he even had a shot, to be fair. Like I said, 11 starts. He's come off the bench twice as well. We've only played 26, 27 games, whatever it is. So,
we've been involved in half. Then,
he's been playing. He just can't. He just really can't score. Jamal Lowe, I just don't think he kind of fits in the system that we're trying to play, which is strange, really, because I thought he would. I don't think he's quite got that pace that he had before. He scored on the opening day of the season, got a goal. He has scored a couple since, a vital goal against Derby at Pride Park when we only played him a few weeks ago, to get the winner in the last minute. So yeah, he started 9 games this season, but yeah, I think that is more down to a system thing rather than anything else, which again is strange because Danny Rill brought him in. But yeah, not quite sure what's happening there. But then when you have the likes of Gassama and Windass and even Michael Smith, who he's someone who I thought was out the door in the summer, but he has bulked up, he has really worked hard, and I think he's got one of the highest goals per 90, or certainly goal and assists per 90 out of anyone in the league. So. But he can't even get a start either. It's a tricky one. But no, if anyone knows why Ike Ugbo's not scoring, please let him know, because we'd all want him to hit the back of the net.
Well, it would be lovely. It would be to have the the problem of who to start on Saturday. We certainly don't have that issue up top. But I want to keep with the theme of strikers. And when we spoke earlier in the season, James, I messed up massively because there was a striker that I was meant to bring up who is one of my personal favourite Millwall players of all time, that then went on to play for you and is now smashing goals in League One still. I want to talk to you about Lee Gregory. I think I'd just love to get your opinion of him, because my mates were, when they watched this back, they were like, why on earth did you not talk to him about Lee Gregory? So I am. So Matt, if you're watching, this is for you. I loved him, and I still do. And I'd still have him today. I really would. He's better than some of the strikers we've got now. But yeah, we'd just love to get your thoughts on Lee Gregory.
He's our striker, he's our number 9, scoring goals in the blue and white, on a free from Stoke City, and he goes Validair Gregory. Mate, we love him. We absolutely love him.
Can I give you our song?
Go on then.
Gregory. do
you know what? We had him on the podcast, and I said to him, because we said to him, obviously we had the song for you, and I think it was MK Don's Away, and I said to him, what was it like when you hear the fans singing your name and singing the song? And he said at first he didn't really know what they were saying, but obviously as you're playing along, and he's like, they were singing it all game, and he's like, after asking the lads in the change room, then all the lads were singing it as well, and he says he even finds himself singing the song, and he's just like walking the dog, and he's like, fucking hell, what am I doing that for? But he said that, when he played for Millwall, that he actually said that was the song that he had. So it's quite good that there's a bit of a tune behind it rather than just singing your surname over and over again. No, Lee Gregory, what a player he is, what a striker. Obviously, when we got promoted out of League One, he's the one that pulls it back for Windass to score that diving header in the 123rd minute against Barnsley. So we'll always go down in our memories. His ability to hold the ball up was second to none. Like shit to a blanket. Honestly, you kick the ball up to him, he would control it. The ball would come down with snow on it, and it'll just be stuck to the end of his boot. I don't know how he can do it. And obviously, he's got that ability to find the back of the net, which obviously any good striker can do. He scored some really, really vital goals for us. Fleetwood away is another one where he scored 2 goals in, I think, the space of a minute. He scored, they took the kick off, he tackled them and scored again, and we won that game, I think 3-1 in the end, after losing 1-0. Yeah. So he's just a great guy. Obviously, they say he's a United fan. We asked him that as well, saying, are you a United fan? And he's like, well, I was there at the academy. So it's like, he kind of swerved the question a little bit, because he said, well, I always look at the Millwall scores. I always look at, Wednesday now, obviously, United, because I was there. But they let him go in the academy. So he did also say that, kind of put a little 2 fingers up to him when he did sign for Millwall, and obviously come from Halifax, I think it was, where he was banging the goals in.
Great signing for us,
So he did say all that, but just a fantastic guy, so laid back. He's just like one of us, and. Yeah, do you know what? It was quite, I wouldn't say sad to see him go, but I still think he could do a job in the Championship, as you said. Scored a goal again yesterday. Great finish. Like lobbed the keeper for Mansfield. I think he's well up there in terms of leading goal scorers as well. So yeah, he's great guy. Really, just really pleasure to talk to, and great to have him. Great to have him playing in the blue and white stripe. He has actually got a Wednesday tattoo now, so
I heard that
on his arm somewhere. Something about the playoffs. So
we'll have to ask him if he's got a Millwall tattoo, but I doubt it. Probably say he's got a lion somewhere. Anyway, no, good to hear your thoughts on Lee Gregory. But I'm going to ask you the final question, then, mate. Let's fast forward to Saturday. Give me. I was going to say your head and your heart, but I don't think you need to. Just tell me, what's the score going to be, James?
Probably a 4-4 or something like that. Given you
don't score more than one, mate. That doesn't happen.
Well, you might do on Saturday. No, look, as I mentioned, we blow hot and cold. Like we'll win one, lose one, draw one. I think there's only been two occasions this season where we've won games back to back. We did that. We beat Oxford, then we beat Stoke. then we drew to Middlesbrough, then we lost to Preston. So obviously, a 4-2 win. Obviously, everyone talked about the goal from Josh Windass, and rightly so. We need to go on a little bit of a run because we've had an easy block of fixtures, but we've got the likes of Leeds United coming up, Burnley coming up as well in a few weeks' time. They're on the horizon. Obviously, our dear neighbours, they've got to come to Hillsborough, which will be a massive game as well. And you've got to pick the wins up, especially at home and especially against teams below us. I think there's only West Brom and Middlesbrough we've picked points off that are actually above us in the league this season. Right. So if it goes to form, you'd like to say that we'll win on Saturday. And I think we've probably got enough to beat you. I think when it comes to resolute defensive sides against teams that are just scoring goals, I think the team that scores goals just finds a way to actually do just that against a team that's good defensively, especially when that team, like you said, aren't scoring either. So it's kind of who breaks first, really. And I think that first goal is going to be key. I know Millwall are good into the dark arts historically, and that frustrates us as fans because we aren't. We are terrible at it, and that's something we need to kind of work on. Derby were really bad at it as well. Well, I suppose they were terrible at it because we beat them 4-2, but the whole goalkeeper going down and head injuries and all stuff like that when the ball's in the box. So we need to just stay calm. But no, I think we'll have enough to beat you. We do concede goals though, so you will score. It's just kind of a case of how many will we score. So I'll probably go for let's say, I'm going to say 2-1, but let's go for 3-1 on Saturday.
I mean, I can't sit here and say that I definitely can't see that happening. As I said to you on your podcast, I think I'd take a 1-1 now, given how poor we were against Oxford on Wednesday. But there we go, mate. There we go. Well, thank you for coming on. Can you just let our listeners and viewers know how they can find you and all of your socials and stuff like that, please, mate?
Yeah, so it's the Wednesday Till I Die podcast. Search for us all the major podcasting platforms. We record live on YouTube on a Sunday evening, 8:00. So if you beat us, then feel free to come along and give us some stick in the comments and what have you. I'm sure if we beat you, you probably won't want to come and listen to it. But if you want to, that's where we'll be. And on all the socials, it's at WTID Pod, where you can, again, give us some grief if you want to join in with the banter.
Yeah, it took me a while to work out what that acronym was, but that's my slow brain after the Christmas break. James, thank you for coming on, mate. Much appreciated. And as always, good luck after Saturday for the rest of the season. And I'm sure it won't be the last time we chat. So thank you, mate. And to the viewers, thank you as always for listening. Please do like, share, subscribe. As you already know, I say this every time. Please do that. Everything that you do helps the algorithm and make more money for Cancer Research UK this season. Thanks for listening. And as always, bye for now.